In this lesson, we'll add a little bit more detail to the handlebars. Alright, so let's go ahead and add some of the switches over on this side. To do this, we'll just simply use the geometry that we have here for the handlebars. And I'm going to create the switches as well as a band right next to it. So I'm going to select all of these polygons. And let's go ahead and under Edit Geometry, Detach. Detach as a clone. Okay. And then I also want to go ahead and take this row and detach those from the piece that we just detached. Okay, so I'll turn that off and go ahead and detach that. So now we have this piece and this piece. Here I want to go ahead and select that ring to connect right along that border there. And then go ahead and select those polygons that are inside the grip and get rid of those. Okay, and then I'll go ahead and add one more line to mirror this line over here. So I'll select the ring, go ahead and move that over. And then I'll add some thickness to this by adding the shell modifier. Give it a little bit of thickness. Let's go ahead and collapse that. Okay. And let's also add some thickness to this little guy, but we'll add not as much. So we'll take that outer amount down to something like this. Okay. And then we'll go ahead and collapse that as well. Okay, let's go ahead and now add some resolution to this, and I should just kind of skim over this because we've done it so many times. But come in and make sure that you add your resolution to sharpen that up when you, if you're going to be smoothing it. If you're not going to be smoothing it, don't worry about it. Okay, and so now if we go ahead and put a smooth on this, okay, that's what we get. And now we can actually create the switches in here. So I'm going to go ahead and collapse this and then access the polygons. So I'm going to go ahead and select these polygons here. Okay. And we'll go ahead and do an inset. Very small amount. Okay. Do an extrude. Again, small amount. Bring that back in. Okay. So something like that. Apply that. Push it down in, apply it, and we'll pull that back out. Okay, let's go ahead and just scale this down a little bit, and then we'll do an inset. Okay, and then you've got something like a switch up here. Okay, and then you can do that over here on this side as well. Okay, and then you want to go ahead and just add your resolution to the other side of this, to this guy as well. So it's a little band right next to this. And then what this is connected to is kind of a box right up here. So I'm going to go ahead and just draw that in and move it over kind of into position here. Okay, and drop it. Kind of rotate this into position. Okay. And I'm going to scale this down a little bit and in. And then the brake can be connected to this box. Okay, and then you can tweak the mirror to connect up right in here. Now for this, I want it to be kind of a little bit softer on the top. I'm going to go ahead and modify the segments. So I'll take the set number of segments down up to 3 on that side and then 3 in here. Okay, let's go ahead and convert this to an editable poly. Take our vertices and just scale those out, move those out locally. Okay, do the same thing over here. And then up here we'll move this up. Okay, and then down, we'll tighten this up a little bit more than we will the top. Okay, and then we'd want to do the same thing over here. Move those out. Okay. And then if we smooth this, it's going to be a little bit softer on top. So it may be what we want. In this case, I think it is. So go ahead and leave that. You could create that intersection there with the cap as well. Now for the brake, go ahead and start with a circle, or a sphere rather. So we'll go ahead and draw this sphere out. Okay, and then just kind of move it over in front of the handlebar here. And something like this. Okay, and let's go ahead and just rotate this a little bit. So something like that. And then I'm going to take some of the polygons. Tonight's an editable poly. Select some of the polygons here on the back. So maybe these guys right here. Okay, let's go to the kind of the top view. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and just extrude those out. Take that value down here a little bit. Okay, then we can go ahead and scale that out a little. Extrude again, and this time do a little bit of shaping to this. So we'll bring this out, rotate this a little, scale it up. Okay, so we're starting to get that kind of the brake handle built in. All right, and then we can kind of move this around a little, and then we can take those polygons on the end and just extrude those out a little bit more, and then we can put them into that box. Okay, and then let's go ahead and add some resolution in here to create the tightness on that edge. So we'll go ahead and just select those edges, do a chamfer on that, take the value down, add one segment in there. Okay, so that when we go ahead and smooth this out, you get something a little bit more like a break. Okay, and you probably want to add another line right up in here. Add a few more lines in there. Definitely add one that we slide up next to the sphere to hold that sphere shape. Okay, and then we can kind of move it up and rotate this a little bit. Want to kind of center the pivot. That's good. Okay, just kind of put that in there. And you can create the transition for that if you have time. Come in and add a little bit of that detail. We don't really have time to go into too much detail on that. Trying to kind of get through this. All right. We also probably want to go ahead and add some break lines coming down from here. So if you have time to do that, you can also do that. Let me go ahead and just go to the front. And I would do that just the same way we did before. I'd probably go ahead and just use a NURBS curve and maybe just bring this down through here. Okay. Go ahead and bring that forward. And I would say that for this, these don't have to match up since they can go right behind here. These don't have to necessarily match up exactly with the lines that are going to come down for the actual brakes, the calipers and so forth. We can kind of fake that. So I'll go ahead and just bring those back behind here. Okay, and these we'll go ahead and bring back here. All right, and so you get these lines here, which you can then add your geometry to, just using the same techniques that we used for all the other pieces that we've done here. All the other tubes and wires that we created. Okay, and I'd maybe add a couple. And then whatever detail you add on this side, you can go ahead and mirror over to the other side. Okay, so once we've got that done, and you can see we go ahead and turn that on, take our thickness down a bit. So once we've got all that added, the next thing that we want to do is go ahead and add the brake calipers and brake lines to the front and back. So we'll go ahead and do that next.